with Alamo City Movie Talk. This is me again, and this time I am going to do the full review of a movie that's been long awaited, blockbuster summer in the winter for the family holidays, of course, but that is Sonic the Hedgehog number 3. You might have seen my out of theater reaction. If you didn't, please feel free to catch it. Full review is a lot more robust. I'm going to say a lot of the similar things that I saw as far as like my initial thoughts, but I think the feeling remains the same of what I want to convey with this review. So let's get started. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, by the way, crazy that we got 3 movies. I mentioned it in my out of theater reaction. The fact that we're on the 3rd one in a span of 4 years, and we still have no Blade movie. That just hurts, guys. It hurts. I know genres are somewhat similar. It's not straight up superhero, but I mean Sonic is kind of a superhero in his own right from the video games. But I have good news. If you're a fan of the video games, I think you're gonna have a blast. This is still fun family time. I think families can't really go wrong with picking this as what to watch over the holiday break for Christmas, coming soon. If you loved major components, the action, some of the references, Dr. Eggman, played by the wonderful Jim Carrey, only him could pull off this role. In this movie, he pulls it off twice. But if you loved all those things from the first 2 movies, I think you're going to be happy. From a critic standpoint, for me, I was hoping for the 3rd movie, which is directed by the same person, Jeff Fowler. I would have expected for there to be an elevation in the craft. Don't get me wrong, I know it's Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I'm not expecting Citizen Kane or anything like that. I'm just reviewing it for what I think they were going for. I didn't really feel the race stakes. They introduced one of my favorite characters from the Sonic universe, Shadow. So cool. Just in name and design, everything, abilities, like Shadow is the bomb. And when they announced that Keanu Reeves was playing him, I was super, super stoked. That said, I do feel like even Shadow's introduction or Sonic's arc amongst this story here on the 3rd film, and even just how they continue to incorporate, right, like the characters that I don't want to say like they pick along the way, but like, you know, Tails is here, Knuckles is here. I feel like all of them, while they were present in the movie, they might have been underutilized to the sense of like the scenes weren't allowed to breathe the way they needed to. So like Knuckles, for example, I know he was the main focus and antagonist or whatnot of the 2nd movie, but him being here, I didn't expect them to have the same focus, especially with someone like Shadow around. But it's almost like the character regresses a little bit when they're underutilized, or their scenes that they're in just kind of feel like placeholders. That was a little bit of the rough part for me. Pacing, just not letting those scenes breathe. Some of the emotional beats that they wanted us to feel just weren't landing to the full extent. Some of them did. Some of them, obviously, you know, I'm familiar with the Sonic the Hedgehog video game, so I like that piece. There was a lot of payoff there. That said, the laughs are there. Jim Carrey does great as Dr. Robotnik, and Robotnik Grandpa, I'm forgetting the name, and I'm a fan of the games. Didn't have a lot of the games with him on, but I know he's vital to the Shadow character. At first, I thought that was going to not work very well, but he did feel like a distinct character, even though you can see and hear that it's Jim Carrey. That was a bit fun. The banter back and forth between those characters was fun. The children, I mentioned this in my out of theater reaction, like they're the target audience. Perhaps I am not. I have a kid, you know, inside of all of us, and we can relate, especially when the video games, you know, date back to our childhood. But yeah, there was just some moments that just didn't feel all the way as deep as maybe they wanted me to. That said, action. It's probably one of the highlights of the movie. Some of it is seen on the trailer, some of it is not. I'm going to do minor spoilers towards the end part of things. I'll give you a heads up as the audience. Don't want to ruin anything. But yeah, as part of the review, the action was probably what called back to me the most about video games. And for any video games players in the audience, you know that the action being super solid and reminiscent of the video games, nothing but positives around that. I just wanted the tension behind the action and some of the dialogue to feel deeper for me, you know, through letting some of those scenes breathe out a little bit more. The runtime, it feels longer than it is. It's an hour and 49 minutes. I feel like they could have reshuffled or maybe scaled back some characters to really put focus on what they wanted to put focus. And let characters, you know, such as Keanu Reeves' character Shadow, just kind of become a bit more full-fledged. There's a lot of exposition and stuff like that that I don't know if it was the best way to really bring it all together. But yeah, Sonic is great. A lot of the human characters definitely did take a step back, I think. I think that's where I felt the most. But still, it just feels like they didn't balance it well enough. The ending is satisfactory. I do recommend, and I'm not getting into spoilers just yet, I do recommend you wait for an after credit scene, because there is an after credit scene that was pretty amazing. It has me excited for the next one. This movie is not bad or crappy. It's just not as good as what I think we got from the first two. Minor step back. There's room for opportunity to deliver on the next one. So it doesn't have me burnt out of the franchise or anything like that. I mentioned it in my out of theater reaction, but I'm just so excited that Sonic is having a successful franchise so far, a successful run. Because, yeah, that first design they showed us was horrible. And to this day, I don't know. There's rumors it was a hoax or like that was a way to kind of get the marketing going for the... If it did, it's brilliant. If it didn't, thank you for listening to feedback. I'm happy the movie's on the third one. But yeah, I'm excited for the fourth one, especially after that end credit scene. There was kids that I don't know how they know the Sonic lore as well as they do, because they're younger than the Sonic games. I guess there has been games around, but either way, there's passion behind this franchise, and that's exciting. I think kids and parents should enjoy that, and hopefully it's enough to deliver some box office performance, enough to at least, you know, sign the dot on a fourth movie. If they go in the direction that I think they'll go based on the after credit scene, it's exciting times. If you want to stay for a little bit of spoiler flair, maybe bring in a little bit more context to my review, feel free to stay on. As of this point, there is a spoiler warning. Yeah, after credit scene was pretty awesome. They are introducing some concepts like Metal Sonic. Man, I'm going to be really bummed if I'm butchering the name. That's the game that I didn't have, but I know the lore. And there was sorry, I'll take a step back. The fight sequence between Shadow and Sonic once again goes into Emerald form. That was really awesome. I kind of expected, right, since they did it at the end of the movie. The feeling felt less earned. Like the transformation, I should say. It was less earned than in the second movie. In this one, they just kind of tap into the power. I didn't expect the same ambience as what the first transformation meant. But here, Sonic uses it as his device to, you know, kind of showcase how his anger gets the better of him and whatnot. That was a bummer for me. Like and then Shadow very quickly transforms as well. I feel like they could have done a bit more with that as well. But I was happy that both of them. Once again, I saw Shadow on the screen and I was like, they're probably going to do something. They're going to give him his his Chaos Emerald energy or Chaos Emerald transformation. Sorry if I'm butchering a lot of the terms. They're not all super fresh in my head. And it's a little thing, but I was bothered by the fact that Shadow's transformation was a little bit too on the pink side. Because I don't know if they did it because of giving it a better differentiation than like Sonic's kind of like gold form, but I don't remember him being that pink. And I'm pulling up actually like just a transformation. Yeah, so like what I remembered is there's Super Shadow, Hyper Shadow. I've only known Hyper Shadow, the white and red combination. And I don't know what went wrong with the VFX stuff, but they definitely made him kind of like on the pinker side. There was like one scene in particular where he went like almost full pink. But could be wrong. There might be a transformation that I missed that should be okay for him to be pink. I don't know. I remember there's a point where he can go full gold, he can go white, and I guess they just mashed them all together from a VFX standpoint. Sorry, this is a small little point. I noticed it. It bothered me a little bit. During the fight, there was like legit like not Man of Steel level of destruction, but like in an attempt to save the Earth, they kind of destroyed the moon. Like, or cut it in half at least, and then it's never addressed. I like at all. And this is what I mean also with the stakes. It's just, it kind of felt bland. Like, I know the threat that they were trying to impose with the characters and the turns or betrayal and stuff like that, but none of those concepts I think landed for me. And then you just, let's destroy the moon just for cool factor. Which, I mean, they didn't have to make a big deal. I mean, that was for shock value, but that's just it. I think like a lot of this was like, hey, let's deliver the shock and awe, but the story took a step back. I know you're listening to the spoiler review. I'm hoping you watched the movie. But yeah, I'm just really excited about all the characters that are being introduced. There's clearly more and more that they're teasing on the end. I also feel really bad for forgetting the name of the cat, the pink cat. Oh man, sorry guys about that. But I'd want them to do for the next one. I'm okay with some characters taking a step back, maybe doing the team up, because at one point it'll get crowded, I feel, from the Sonic crew or the Sonic team. But that's it. Those are my thoughts. Didn't want to go too much into spoilers, but I gave the warning, so we should be all good. As far as the rating that I give this, I want to say this movie, I think it's 6.5 for me. 6.5. It's respectable. It's not crazy. I'm not calling it crappy or anything like that. It was just, I'm not as compelled as to watch it again. I think it's going to do strongly in the holiday break. I think it's going to do well in streaming. I'm not compelled to watch it again just on that alone, though. Just the pacing really bothered me. Thank you so much for staying tuned, guys. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. What is your relationship to the Sonic franchise as a whole? Did you start with the movies? Did you start with the video games? If so, how do you feel the franchise is faring off so far? Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Bye, everyone. This was Lex once again with Alamo City Movie Talk, and we'll catch you on the next film. Bye.